Discovering Asian dramas back in 2018 was an enlightening moment for me, and I've never looked back. I enjoy talking about them just as much as watching them. So much so that I decided to create a podcast to chat everything from Chinese to Korean, Japanese to Thai, and everything in between. Welcome to the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Asian drama. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and today's episode marks the beginning of a series which I think I'm going to call Let's Dive Into That Genre. Now, I've mentioned before that I think, if you've mainly watched, say, Korean dramas or, Thai dramas or Japanese dramas, and you want to jump into another country's dramas, whether that be Chinese or Korean or whichever Asian drama you're wanting to jump into, I think that looking into what dramas you already like in the country that you already watch from, and then taking that genre and choosing dramas within that genre of another country usually works out because you already like the genre, so you're already more tuned in, so to speak, to what that genre is going to give you. Now, obviously, every country does genres slightly different, and fantasy, I would say, is very different from country to country. Romance, I think, stays a lot the same. I mean, romance is romance. But I think there's some key things within each genre that stays, the same. And I think having those affinities there kind of help you to find dramas that you're more likely to enjoy within that country. And then if you're already enjoying those, then you can branch out into other genres and stuff. So I think that this is a method that I find works pretty well. It worked pretty well when I jumped from Chinese to Korean dramas. I looked into the genre that I already was watching within Chinese dramas, and then I quite liked the Korean ones that I enjoyed. So that's what I'm going to do. So this will be an ongoing, series. I'm going to try and dive into as many genres as I can. However, little disclaimer, obviously I can only jump into the genres that I myself watch, and I don't watch all of them. I think I watch, rom-com, youth dramas, I watch fantasy dramas, found family dramas, what other genres? But if we're going to touch on anything like horror or anything like that, then I am not as keen on it. I think I've barely ever watched anything that really has horror or suspense and thriller. I have watched a few, but I haven't watched too many. So for those, I've actually got something planned where I'm hoping to bring on some guests to do those episodes with me so that you can still get some cool recommendations and I can still cover all the genres within this series in the upcoming months and going forward. But obviously they will just be others recommendations instead of being mine, because I simply don't really watch that genre. And then maybe I can take some dramas to also try out. We will see. There's some genres. I don't think I'll turn anything down. I'm up for trying any drama, but I have to be in the right mood. I'm a very mood watcher. Is anybody else like this? I feel I have to be in the right mood for the right drama. And sometimes if I push through and I'm like not in the right mood, I end up not enjoying the drama as much as I could have. So yeah, I have to be in the right mood for the right drama. There's some dramas where I'll just watch regardless because I'm always in the mood for them. But some genres, I just like a thriller or a suspense drama or something along those lines. I have to be in the right mood for them. Otherwise, I just can't make myself push through them. So the one that I really wanted to start with, so for this episode, we're going with what I would call like the youth or coming of age dramas. You know, those type of dramas where, you know, you're in college or in high school going to college, or you're in college, you know, going into adulthood or university. Now, for the Americans out there, and that sounds really bad, I don't mean it that way. What you guys mean as college is different for me in the UK. So college for us is like 2 years between the ages of 16 and 18, and then you go to university. But I've gathered from talking, you know, from having friends from America, that that's not the case. That like college for you guys is university for us. So, you know, when I say university or anything like that, I mean college, you know, years. But yeah, for us, higher education, you know, where you get your PhDs and everything like that, that's university in the UK. So yeah, I don't, you know, hopefully nobody will get confused with that. I think I have a couple of dramas to mention that are based in university. So yeah, like I was saying, that because youth dramas are coming of age dramas, a lot of them are based in that time where you're either, you know, in school or college or university, whichever it is. But that isn't, that may not happen all the time. I mean, sometimes there's other times where you can still class it as a youth drama, but they're not really focused on like school or anything like that. So, but having said that, youth dramas are mainly set in either high school or university, college, whichever, guys. However, that's not, you know, like I mentioned, not necessarily the focus every time. I've mainly only watched Chinese and Korean dramas with this setting, so the ones that I'll be discussing and listing are some of my favourite Chinese youth dramas, as well as at the end of the episode, I'm just going to have to mention some favourite Korean ones, because they are, you know, I just have to mention them. I quite like them, and I think they deserve a little spot in this episode. And the reason why I'm only mentioning them quite at the end is because I think the K-drama choices I've got are already quite popular ones, and I'm pretty sure most podcasts have already talked about them. So I want to give like Chinese dramas you know, the spotlight in this episode. I think my podcast, you know, my podcast in general is more aimed at Chinese dramas, but I do want to bring other, you know, countries, Asian countries, dramas into it. I will, along the way, you know, pepper in some Korean, although I don't want to go too much into the Korean ones, not because I don't watch them, but because I feel like there's other podcasts out there that already do such a brilliant job with Korean dramas that I just feel like I don't need to go into them as much. So that's why my focus will mainly and I can't say that word, will mainly be Chinese dramas. I do really want to get more into Filipino dramas. I've only watched a very, very few. So if you guys out there listening have got any recommendations for me for Filipino dramas, send them my way. You know, hit me up on my socials, because I really want to get more into them. What I've watched, I've enjoyed. So, I think I forgot to add some, now, you know, just looking closely at my script, and already this is, you know, we're all over the place, guys, but you've been listening to me for a couple of episodes now, like, you should know I get all over the place. I do have scripts for these episodes, but I deviate so much for them, and then when I go back and listen, I'm just like, look, I'm just leaving it as it is. I feel like I just want the podcast to be like, as if we're sitting down and having a conversation about whichever topic pops into my mind. So that, that's why I don't really edit my episodes or anything. I leave them as they are. So yeah, going back. See, now I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, right. So great. This is just going to be one of those episodes. I can feel it. This is my first episode. So I went home, back home to Portugal, and I was there for like 2.5 weeks. So I haven't recorded anything for almost 3 weeks. I haven't done anything for, 3 weeks. So my brain is mush. I've just done my first 2 days back at work, and I'm like, exhausted, and I'm like, it doesn't even feel like I was on holiday, but apparently I was. But here we go. We're going to push through, guys. So also, like I was saying, so this episode for youth dramas is mainly going to be Chinese dramas. I really wish, now thinking about it, I haven't watched too many, but Thai dramas, especially BL dramas, but I have an episode upcoming for BL. There's so many set in school and like university and everything. So, but I haven't watched too many. So that's why I haven't really mentioned too much of those. And also Japanese. I think I've only really watched one Japanese one where it's set in like high school. So I think I'm going to tag that at the end as well, because I actually quite enjoyed it. I'm going to have to like pause the recording and go find it on MDL, because it's been a while since I've watched that one, but I remember quite enjoying it. And if I remember correctly, it's quite a short one, so I think I binged it in one go. So like I said, mainly Chinese dramas. I think China does the youth genre really, really well. So that's why most of my choices, and when I was looking at MDL, like most of my higher rated youth dramas are mainly Chinese. So it makes sense like for me to go there. So before I start, I will also mention I'm gonna add like my MDL ratings in this episode. I will be doing in the future an episode where I want to do like how I rate my dramas and like how I use MDL and all of that. So that will be upcoming. But I'm wondering, how do you guys, like, this is nothing to do with this episode, but it just popped into my head. So how do you guys rate, like, your dramas? Is it more like how it made you feel, or do you look closely at the drama, or anything like that? How do you use the MDL scoring, and, like, how do you rate your dramas? Because that would be really interesting to, like, add that to my MDL episode that I'm going to do later on. So send those my way. I'll link my socials in the description, but do send those my way and just tell me, how do you rate your dramas? Anyways, shall we actually get back into what this episode's about? I just want to mention this episode is like completely spoiler free, so you are free to like listen to this, and if youth dramas are your thing, then you can pick up some suggestions. Hopefully there's some in here that you haven't watched, or if you just want to try out, another Chinese drama or with something within this genre, just listen on. I won't be spoiling anything. So without further ado, let's get to my first drama. And the first one I have to mention, this was like a breakout drama this year, not only for me, but I'm pretty sure quite a few people enjoyed it. I know in the Discord server there was quite a lot of love for this drama, and that is the drama Binary Love. Now, Binary Love is a 2022 youth drama, and it stars Sabrina Zhuang and Ren Yulun. It's the story of two neighbors who basically they go to the same high school, and the male Fang Yuke is the school's top scorer. And he's basically like, the genius of the school. He's really good at school. And he helps Zhou Lin to so basically she wants to get into a certain course. And she needs help to get her grades up, basically. So he decides to help her because they're neighbors. They live across each other. on their street. So their parents are quite close to each other as well, so they know each other through there as well. However, a misunderstanding causes them to grow apart. Yuka, wanting to help Lin Lin to get into her desired university course, creates an online persona. They both end up attending the same university, and when the two re-meet again, shenanigans ensue. Basically, that is what happens. So Lin Lin does not know that Yuka is like this online persona that is helping her with her grades. And that's how he wants it to stay for the time being, because there were like a few disagreements between them and they're not, on the best of terms. So that's basically how it works out. So yeah, like I said, they meet back up at university, and that's where the story really kicks into a higher gear. Now, for me, I really love this drama. It was one of my favorite youth dramas for this year, so for 2022. And I think it really much has to do with our main couple. They have a really good relationship path. And I love seeing them going from enemies to friends and then lovers. I just loved the fact that their friendship was built so well, and their path and the way they went from one stage to the other felt really smooth. So I really, really loved that. Yuka to me is a great character. And even though he is a genius in his field, our female lead is also so gifted in her field, which makes it doesn't make the relationship feel unbalanced. A lot of the time for me, when you have dramas where either the male lead or the female lead have this almost superpower of they're incredible doctor, or they are super doted at studying, or they're a genius in maths, whatever it may be, it may feel like the relationship can be a little bit one-sided, in the sense of one's very much smarter than the other, or but I really loved the fact that Yuka is great in his area, and he's really gifted at studying and everything. But Lin Lin is so good in her field. She's an interior designer, I think. Oh, I may have that wrong. But I think she's a designer of sorts, and she sees the world in a very different way than Yuka. And it's really funny because there's a part where he goes and does a bit of her course, and he is atrociously bad at it, and I really enjoyed that, because he's great in his field, but she's also great in her field. And although she needed a little help for a certain part of the subject to get into her desired course, she is also very gifted in, she's talented and she works hard. So I really, really enjoyed that there wasn't, an imbalance in the relationship. Now, another thing that I really, really loved about this drama is the friendship groups created, both with the male lead and the female lead. So the female lead there's a little foursome of girls, and then a little foursome of guys, whichever, and basically they all become one big group, but they split off, and the girls, when the girls need the girls are there, and when the guys need the guys are there. They back each other up, and I really, really loved just seeing that, that relationship and how they developed and everything. So yeah, I really enjoyed the side characters just as much as the main couple. Now, I do know that some people didn't quite enjoy as much the second, quote unquote, second female lead. There is no love triangle as there is, but it's not too bad in this drama. But yeah, I really did enjoy the friendship groups that came with the drama. I think I've mentioned here on my little script that the only thing I would pick at this drama was the second male lead. And basically, he could have been, for me personally, like he could have been toned down a little bit. And he kept thinking he would get the female lead like right up until the end. Like I feel like they dragged that triangle out a little too far. Even though like our couple was very much set in stone, like you could clearly see they were it and like they could see it. I just feel like that second male lead could have been toned down a little bit. So if you're not really into triangles, you know, love triangles, this may not be for you. Although, you know, that triangle gets resolved. It's just that the second male lead, you know, keeps thinking that he will win her over one way or the other. So yeah, but if you like, you know, friends, enemies to lovers, and if you like good supporting relationships, which I really liked how supportive Yuka was of Lin Lin and how supportive Lin Lin was of Yuka. So yeah, I actually ended up rating this one an 8 out of 10 on MDL. So I really did enjoy it. That's quite a high rating for me. There's not too many that I rate above an 8, I would say. So so I really did enjoy this one. So for my next choice, I wrote down a drama called Memory of Encaustic Tile. This drama is I will actually be listing these down in the description box. I got this comment from a couple of listeners when I did one of my episodes earlier on, that like obviously, and I didn't think this, like it was a bit silly of me. I didn't think this through. Basically when you're listening to a podcast episode, obviously a drama might sound interesting, but then you may not like remember the name, and because I didn't write them down anywhere, people were like, can you write them down next time? So guys, if these dramas are not listed in the description, come for me, because I will try remember. I really will. Hopefully I will, and they will all be listed in the description if you want to check any of them out. But anyways, so this one's called Memory of Encaustic. Encaustic, or is it Uncaustic? Uncaustic? I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Let me know when you read it, how do you read it? So this drama is a 2022 youth drama, but it also like falls quite heavily into the found family category. Basically, the story follows a group of youths who all live in the same alleyway, from high school through university and then finally into adulthood. And basically, the drama stars Chen Yu-chi as Lin Yi, as our main... guys, it's been a long day, clearly. Let me start that again. This drama stars Chen Yu-chi and Lin Yi as our main characters. All the parents of our group have work in like antiques. They all kind of run an antiques museum together, and this sort of unifies all the neighbors in that little alley, because they all sort of work in the same place and they all work for the same, goal. I cannot tell you guys how much I enjoyed the found family within this drama. And also, I will say it isn't the same story, but it reminded me a lot of Reply 1988 for Korean drama fans. I know that's a big one. I really enjoyed Reply 1988, and this one has like the same feel to it. It's not the same story by far, definitely not the same story, but it has the same feel, like that alley found family feel. There's even like a scene right at the beginning. You guys know, like if you've watched Reply 1988, there's a scene where the mums are sending the kids from like one house to the other to like, oh, my mum's giving you this food, or my mum's sending you this bit or that. There's exactly the same scene in this drama, in Memory of Encaustic Tile. And like when I watched it, I had watched Reply 1988 like very, very like a couple of weeks before I watched this one, and I was like, oh my god, all the feels. And so I ended up really, really enjoying that. So if you're a Reply 1988 fan, I think you'll really enjoy this one, because it's like I said, not the same story, but it's along the same lines. So I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I love that like everybody helps each other out in the alley. And there is some really, really tough moments in this drama. Like there was so many that, you know, I teared up. But like that the alley's support base, you know, of everyone that lives in the alley, and they support each other. I just love that. That made this drama. So although it is a youth drama, because you're not following the parents or anything, the parents' stories are there because the youths are there. You're following them, and you follow them from high school into university and then into adulthood. And I loved seeing that. Like I really, really loved seeing that, you know, that aspect of this drama. I love watching characters on a journey, and if you can, you know, watch or for me, if I can watch a couple of stages of their lives, like that is just, I just love that. So yeah, like I said, yeah, they're all really supportive in the alley, and you know, found family to the max. This is definitely you know, one of those that fall into both categories quite heavily. Like I said, my only drawback for this one, and it is a minor one because it happens a few times in Chinese dramas, is that it was a little too long for me. So yeah, I think it could have been cut down in places. But I actually was watching a video from Marcus Sim on YouTube, and he's great. Like him and Avenue X, I love watching their videos. They are great for Chinese entertainment and for Chinese dramas. And he mentioned that like dramas actually want to be longer because they get, you know, paid for adverts, and basically the more episodes you get, the more, you know, adverts you can fit in. And then someone on Discord also mentioned that they get paid per episode, so the more episodes you've got, the more money you're gonna earn. So sometimes you know, dramas can feel a little bit too long just because they you know, they've been, you know, exactly because of that, because they've been, you know, run a bit too long. But saying that, I still scored this one an 8 out of 10, so I still really enjoyed it. But I think I would have scored it slightly higher if it'd just been cut down just a little bit. So for my next recommendation drama within the youth genre, we're going back to 2021, and it's a drama called To Fly With You. Now, this drama stars Song Do-ah as Chen Zhang-yi and Wang An-yu as Xiao Bei-shang. Now, Zhang Yi, she's basically a speed skater on ice, and she tries to get into the speed skating team behind her mother's back, and she actually gets accepted into university through the team. Now, at this university, there's also figure skating, and the star for figure skating, his name is Bei-shang. Now, these two, basically, they clash immediately. Like, there is no love lost between them. They are complete, you know, enemies. But even their bickering is fun to watch. Like, even when they're bickering, you can see their, you know, their chemistry, and I really, really liked that aspect. Basically, then, through certain events, these two enter into a fake relationship, and that just dings for me, because I love, like, the fake relationship trope. I just think, I don't think I can ever get enough of it. So yeah, they basically, they're both pretty good at their, like, sport. Obviously, they're both on ice, but it's two very different sports. And what I really enjoyed about this drama is that they both have trials within their sport and they end up becoming like a support system for each other. And I really, really like that because although this drama does really well at showing that although they're both on ice, they are quite different and, you know, they still support each other. And they can still help each other. So I really, really enjoyed that. Also, like, for me, both Anu and Zhu R did, like, such a great job. Their chemistry is definitely on point. And like I said, I loved the support throughout the drama. And, you know, this one does definitely only stick to, like, their university years. But there's so much growth. They really do become, they almost, you know, feel a little bit... how to explain it, you know, they feel quite young at the beginning of the drama, and then as you move on, they become like young adults, so to speak. So they're ready to move on to the next stage of their lives, and I really, really enjoyed that. I loved the passion for their sport and the passion, you know, to be on ice. So I just loved that aspect as well. I really also enjoyed like the relationships around, because although like the speed skating does is quite tough on our female lead, and she does encounter quite a few problems at the beginning, there's like this found family between all the girls that sort of come together on the team, and I really, really enjoyed that as well. So I will say, like, both the ice skating and like the speed skating were done pretty well. It was beautiful to watch, and I do know from watching some of the behind the scenes there were a couple of scenes that the actors actually shot themselves, but obviously a lot of it is just like stunt doubles, but it's done pretty well. Like I didn't, you know, really see any problem between, you know, switching out the doubles for the actors and whatnot. So I really, really enjoyed it. So much so that I actually ended up scoring this one a 9 out of 10. That's like how much I enjoyed it. And I didn't feel like I watched it, you know, I didn't feel like it was lagging or anything. Like I felt good about, you know, the amount of episodes it had, which doesn't always happen, but yes, this one's pretty good one. You know, if you like fake relationships, youth drama, this one has a little bit of both and it works out pretty well. Now the next one is called Forever Love, and this one is from 2020, and this one actually became quite popular within like Chinese drama watchers circle. So this one again stars Wang Ganyu from our previous drama that I just talked about, and his character's name is Zhang Zhenghan, and it stars our female lead Julia Xiang as Xie Linxi. So basically is like Lin Shi is basically your cheery, bright, you know, female lead, and she has good grades, good friends, and she's basically on the fast track to a really good university. Now, our male lead, Zhang Han, he isn't faring as well. It's not because of, you know, lack of trying or his own fault. It's just that like life hasn't been easy on him, and there's quite a few things in his life that just aren't going quite as planned. So they basically meet in high school, and like Lin Shi is his ray of sunshine. Like they become really close friends, and I really, really like that. They become really good friends before they blossom into love, and that only happens. So in high school they are just friends, that's it. And then when they move into university, and that's like more an adult setting, that's when their love begins to blossom. And I actually really enjoyed that, like, because I feel like you're at a different stage in university than you are in high school. And I'm not saying, you know, the emotions aren't valid, but I just feel like they had a really good, you know, solid base relationship to work their love from. And I just loved watching that. Although like they do blossom into a relationship, like after university, they kind of start going in different different directions. And that's, when the conflict of the drama sort of kicks in a little bit. But it's nothing heavy. Like, they still work through their problems and everything. And I actually really enjoyed that. And I think that's why I enjoyed this drama so much. It's because it feels like a real couple just, going through their life and just working things out. And I think that's so important. And sometimes it's really rare to find that in a drama, where you don't see a drama, you see just a relationship on the screen. And although it's on a screen, it could just as easily be happening in front of you in real life, because it feels like that organic. And this drama definitely has that. So I really enjoyed watching them going from youths and then high school into university, and then lastly how they settled into adulthood. Although I will say, I did score this drama, saying all of that, I scored this drama slightly less. And that's because, although I absolutely loved the main couple, this drama is worth it simply for that main couple. I didn't think the rest of the world around them, the secondary cast, wasn't built as well. So whenever anything else was happening, that wasn't the main couple, I was like, oh, I'm not enjoying it quite as much. But like I said, I do definitely still think this one is, worth a shot, because this main couple is written so well that, I definitely, still want to recommend it. So I ended up scoring this one a 7.5 out of 10. So it does reflect the fact that, I loved the main couple, but not quite, the surrounding cast. But 7.5, once I do my MDL episode, you'll realize that is a pretty average score for me. That's a pretty good score for me. So it doesn't mean that it isn't good. It just means that it reflects my little quibbles with it, but I'm still recommending it. So I still think it's pretty good. So my next drama, now this drama was probably one of my favorites of 2021. I watched the heck out of this drama, and I was watching it live. I watch pretty much all of my dramas while they're on air, and I was begging for new episodes whenever I'd caught up with all the, episodes that had aired. And this is the 2021 drama called Summer Again. Now, it follows Tong-shi, played by Ne Ke-shin, a ballet dancer. And she's basically forced to move from a really big city back to her hometown. And it's because of her mother's job. She gets transferred back to her hometown. So she basically takes Tong-shi with her. Now, Tong-shi wants to take this opportunity to change her image of a tough girl to a sweet, bright one. However, her plan completely keeps getting derailed by Lin Nan-yi, who's played by Chen He-yi, her childhood friend. And obviously, because he's a childhood friend, he truly knows what her personality is like. So they just keep butting heads because she's trying to rebuild her image, and he's just like, nah, that's not who you are. And I find this so funny. And basically, through misunderstandings and gradual help, these two rediscover each other and themselves. So I really, really loved this, because although on the surface this seems like a pretty standard, youth drama, I feel like it's the type of drama that starts off quite superficial, and then it takes a deeper look into what's underneath. And it's, for me, one of the things that I loved about it is the character's growth. We went from this girl who's trying to completely change herself, and she loses herself completely in this drama. At one point, she doesn't know who she is, she doesn't know what she wants to do, and they're at that point in life where people are asking them, what you're going to do with your life, what you're going to do after school, and she simply does not know. And watching her go from this lost kid, because she's not really a kid, but a young youth, and then blossoming into this person and becoming who she wants to be. I loved that. So that was definitely one of my main loves for this drama. It's truly like a coming of age drama because you watch them, being these clueless kids and then becoming, who they're meant to be or who they want to be. And that happens to actually both our female lead and our male lead. More so on the female lead side because her story is very much that she wants to change herself completely and she wants to become someone else. So yeah, I ended up scoring this one a 8.5 out of 10. So I really enjoyed it. It is definitely like a coming of age, and it's just like a sweet drama that it isn't too sweet, if that makes sense. So there's definitely a lot more underneath the surface. Definitely worth your time. So the next drama, it has to be, like I've said this for quite a few, but this one definitely, it has to be one of my favourite when it comes to the youth genre. And it's a little gem from 2021 and it's called Our Secret. And this one stars Chan Ze-yuan as Jo Soo-yu and Chu Mang-ji as Ding Xian. Now, the setup at its core is very simple. Our main couple meet in high school and they become desk mates. And instinctively, they dislike each other. So, up to now, pretty much your normal setup for a lot of youth dramas. However, throughout their daily lives and as events connect them more, this relationship turns into one of friendship, which also then eventually leads to love. Now, these two characters are so supportive of each other. And that was just such a joy to follow for me as a watcher. Like, I loved seeing how they turned from teenagers in high school to young adults in university and finally into adults living their lives. Like, this is one of those dramas that follows them through a couple of stages in their lives. And that is one of my favorite things to watch, within the youth drama genre, is like, the journey that these characters get to go on, because they go from people who might not exactly know who they are and then like the adults they're just starting to become. And I really love that because also there's so much potential at that time in your life, like in your 20s. There's, saying this, I'm about to get out of my 20s next year. I'm going into my 30s. So, speaking as someone who's got almost 2 feet out of her 20s, there's like so many possibilities in your 20s. You're still figuring out who you are. And I think, you figure out who you are throughout your whole life. But I think like 20s, university, that kind of place, there's so much happening. And I really enjoy like watching growth that can happen within that stage of your life. And also, this is one of those dramas where I really enjoyed the side characters. Like, the friendships were also pure and like supportive and realistic. And I love that. Like, when a drama can do that to me when I'm watching it, and I love the main couple, but also when all the other characters come on screen, I'm just as invested in them as I am in our main couple. And that to me is like, it doesn't happen all the time because, not every character in a drama is going to be written well. That's just, it can happen, but it's quite hard to find a drama where you're like, I loved every single character. Because, it doesn't happen all the time. But with this drama, I was like, I absolutely love every single character. And I love watching them go from, teenagers and then into adulthood. Like, I just loved the journey. So I scored this one a 9 out of 10 because I really, really, enjoyed it. And if you haven't watched it, if I were to say, go check out one drama out of, all the ones that I've listed, this is the one. Like, go check this one out because it's such a good one. So, my next one, and I think this might be my last one. I may be wrong, but we'll see. So, my next one is a 2018 drama, and it's called When We Were Young. Now, this drama stars Neo as Hua Biao. Yeah, Hua Biao, and Wan Pang as Yang Shi. Now, right, there is one of the main reasons I watched this drama is Wan Pang. Now, I love this actress. Like, I don't think there's a drama that I've watched of hers that I've been, disappointed. But also, I really like this male lead, like both of these. And that is mainly the reason that I, went into this drama. I actually didn't even know what it was about. I knew, through the posters, you can kind of tell it's youth because they're in school uniform. So, that's all I knew. I loved the male lead and the female lead, and it was youth. So that's why. And it did not disappoint. The story follows basically a group of youths in school in 1996. While she's chasing down a bike thief, Yang Shi gets injured because of a lab explosion. And this means that she can't participate in her upcoming track event. This is quite a blow because she loves running and she wants to make it into a career. However, things get even worse when she realizes that the new student, Hua Biao, not only is the one that caused the explosion, but has now taken over her class and he's become class president. So he's actually stolen the spot from her. She was class president, he came in and he won class president. This leads to some interesting conflicts between the two. Ultimately, I really liked how each character was never quite what they seemed, but in a good way. You peel the layers off these characters as the episodes go, and I really, really liked that. There's also quite a good found family aspect to this one. Not quite as heavy as the ones that I mentioned before, but still pretty good one. And for this one, I ended up scoring it an 8 out of 10. So still pretty, like I said, the ones that I've talked about today are mainly the dramas that have scored higher on MDL for the youth genre. So that's why they're all, pretty up there. And I think that's it. Yeah, that is it for my Chinese drama, youth genre again, youth genre, youth coming of age, that sort of genre. And so for the last part, I just wanted to talk about some of my favorite youth K-dramas. Again, there shouldn't really be any spoilers. Like I said, this is a recommendation episode, so I don't usually add any spoilers to these. Most of these are beloved choices by many K-drama fans in general, but obviously we all have personal taste, and that's pretty cool because I quite like when people differ opinions and we can sit down and have a chat about them. So, that's, I think, what makes drama watching and drama talking so much fun is that, two people can sit down, watch exactly the same drama and walk away with completely different experiences. And I love that. I really do. So, so for Korean dramas, let's see what I've put down. This one had to be mentioned. I've already mentioned it a couple of times throughout the episode, but it's always been worth mentioning again. Now, it's got to be Reply 1988. It's one of those dramas that it took me such a long time to give it a try. And one of my friends, she kept badgering me to watch this drama. It's one of her favorites because it stars Park Bo-gum. But in general, not just because of that, but she really loves this drama. And she kept telling me, just go watch it, just go watch it, just go watch it. And I just kept putting it off and putting it off. And it's not necessarily anything to do with the drama. It's really hard for me to start a completed drama. I barely ever have those on my list. I just really enjoy watching on-air dramas. So that's probably why I kept putting it off. And also, Reply 1988 has really long episodes. And I have a quibble with long episodes. It's a very me thing, but as soon as I see 1 hour 20, 1 hour, 25, I'm like, oh no. So I think that also kept, putting me off of it. And then I started watching it, and I was in about 10 episodes, and I was like, why I don't understand it. Why do people love this drama so much? And it still hadn't clicked for me. Now, this is a 20 episode drama, so it takes a little while. And then probably around episode 10 or 11, like, it hit me. And it came out of the blue. Like, I didn't even understand. It came out of the blue. I had come to love these characters that I had been watching for 10 episodes. I just hadn't realized. And I was way more invested in it than I thought I was. And that's when it hit me. Oh, that's what everybody keeps talking about. So yeah, I loved the alleyway families, like how they took care of each other, the found family. So I truly, truly loved this drama. It had like lovely characters, and I grew to love each of them. But Park Bo-gum holds a very precious spot for me, because I just love Park Bo-gum. How can you not? And his character, I just feel like I needed him more on screen, but that's a quibble for me. But still definitely one of my favourite, dramas within the youth genre for Korean content. And the next one has to be Racket Boys. Now, Racket Boys, again, it's the fact that it's set in a small town. And I feel like that's a recurring theme. Like, youth dramas just go so well with like small town vibes. I don't know why, but it's like that found family. And I think found family and youth dramas go so well hand in hand. At least for me, it works really well when both of those are. So for Racket Boys, I just loved how everybody looked after each other. It's just so beautiful for me to see. And I think it's probably because that's not, like, at least where I live, that's not very common. Like, I know a couple of neighbours on my street, but it's not, I wouldn't necessarily call it a community. And I think that's so rare nowadays, maybe not in smaller towns like, in Racket Boys where it's set. But I just love seeing that, since it's something that I can't really experience. So, yeah, and also I found it really interesting that I actually enjoyed watching the badminton scenes. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it very much, but I really, really did. So, yeah, I love these kids, and, like, I wanted them to succeed. Like, I was right there with them going, come on, come on, come on. So I was cheering for them, like, as if I was watching a proper badminton, game. So, yeah, this is definitely one of those that I just absolutely loved. The drama and the characters and the town vibes and just everything in it. So the next one that I really wanted to mention. Now, this one, it's not necessarily youth, but it's like, I still think it plays, for me, it's still youth. So it's the Korean drama Our Beloved Summer. And it's probably more well described as like a romance coming of age drama, but there's so many scenes set in, their youth years in high school and everything, and the drama starts off in high school, that I still think we can call it, a youth drama. Now, this drama frustrated me to no end. And I was like, why? Why is this frustrating? And like, why am I enjoying this at the same time? And then I realized that it's frustrating because it's so damn realistic. Like, the emotions are real, and these situations could happen in real life. The feelings of pride and shame and miscommunications were all things that could happen to any of us. Therefore, I think that's what it made, that's what made me connect to this drama so much, or even more. It's because it's so damn realistic. And I'm like, this could be happening. But to me, this might be a slight spoiler, guys, but I have to include it. To me, like the scene in episode 11, it's basically, there's a kiss scene, and it is where it's raining and our main couple kisses, and then there is finally a flashback to every single kiss in high school that they had teased with, but they never actually showed us. And like all of that while Kim Tae-young Now, Kim Tae-young is my ultimate bias, so I was going to love, that scene, but the fact that he's crooning in the background, that just ups that scene for me. And his voice is just beautiful. It fits that scene so well. Everything in that scene is like perfection. It just fits so well. And it's like one of those scenes that I will probably clearly remember for a very, very, very long time. Even now, like I watched this drama months ago, and I can, as I'm talking about it, I can clearly see that scene, in my head. So definitely one of my favorite, genre youth coming of age dramas for sure for Korean. And for my last K-drama, I have to mention this one, but pretty much probably everyone knows about this drama because it blew up this year, and that is 2521. This drama came, it aired, and it conquered for various reasons. This whole drama was just like a journey you took with the characters, and it was so beautifully done. For me, there were a couple of problems, like with the main couple, especially our male lead chasing our female lead while she was, still pretty, much in high school. However, this didn't take away from me loving this drama in the long run. And I tell you what, it's because to me, this drama was Nahido. Like, that was her story completely through and through. Like, you get to see everybody else and you get to see their, like, the main couple's relationship. But to me, this was Nahido's story. And that's why I ended up, loving it so much. Like, I have this drama to thank for introducing me to Kim Tae-ri because I had never seen her before, and I'm like, now I'm chasing down her dramas because she's so good. She's so good. I can't believe, how well she played this character. Like, she wasn't Kim Tae-ri, she was Nahido, and that's all I could see on my screen. And also, for me, my favourite part of this drama, apart from, Nahido and her story, is and will always be, like, the relationship and the journey of Nahido and Ko Yurim. Like, those two characters together, oh my god, best, like, friendship goals to the max. Realistically speaking, like, to me, those two should have been endgame. Come at me, whatever, it is what it is. But I just found that they fit together so well as friends. So yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite. Their friendship was just so pure, and it's one of those that I don't think I soon will forget. Like, I just love those two characters together. So yeah, that was the last drama for me to mention. This episode's getting on a bit longer now, but it is. So, let me know, guys, do you like the youth genre in general? Like, have you guys tried this genre? What episodes or what dramas have you watched? Have you watched any of these that I've mentioned? Let me know. I always love chatting, so please come and chat to me. I hope you enjoyed this first episode in my Let's Dive into that genre series. What genre would you like to listen to next? I've got a couple in mind, but, I'm always up for listening and reading your guys' comments. So let me know what you guys think, and see you next time. This has been another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and you can come and chat to me on Instagram at Tea and Soju Pod, all one word, and on Twitter, Tea_Soju_pod. You can also find a great community at the Asian Drama Watchers Discord server, where all sorts of people hang out and talk everything Asian drama. I'll leave everything written down in the description notes. See you next time for more Asian drama chatter.